and welcome to Mindset Over Everything. I'm your host, Miss Amber Nicole, and I have with me an esthetician, a content creator, and owner of Bitterfoxx Studios, Miss India Brooks.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm so glad we could do this.
I know, me too.
I'm excited.
I'm like a little nervous. She has her whole little like camera set up. Like she has the iPad here, she has the phone here, and she has like it's like a whole production.
I'm
here.
really trying to be legit right
This
now.
is very inspiring even to me as a creator.
Yay.
Like now I'm just like, yeah. It's so funny because I just had a TikTok earlier today that I made, and I was just like, I have a Mac, I have an iPad Pro, I have the phone, and I have all this stuff, and it sits and I don't even use it. And I'm just like, I need to start using it, so this is the time.
My MacBook that's mainly my daughter's at this point because she plays Sims on it constantly.
Okay.
So all my stuff has just been sitting. Like it just sits.
Yeah.
Spend all this money and it collects us.
Yeah, I'm ready to. I have mine with me today, ready to take it to the Apple Store to get it fixed.
Yeah, I need to get my key fixed.
Yep.
Okay, so I do have some questions written down, but I still want it to feel like a conversation. We did talk a little bit already, but I just want us to be able to inspire other people so that they can make their dreams come true, because that I feel like is my purpose in life, to inspire other people to do whatever it is, that thing that they think that they can't complete for some reason, because we get a lot of that. Like I feel like can't is like a big word in America.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like the top ones, but sometimes I question that.
I know. I think it could also be just because like we have so much access to everything. Like we see everyone's life. It's just like right in our hand. It's on our phone. So
is the internet a blessing or a curse?
I think it's both. I think it just depends on how much you consume. You definitely have to give yourself like a break. Like if you don't give yourself a break, then that's when you feel like I can't do something, or you just overdid it, or you just feel like you can't keep up, or you're never going to get there. Everything just is going to feel so far away because on the internet all you see is people's end result, but no one shows you the bad side. Right. So I definitely think that's why. Yeah,
for sure. And then you get into that comparative mindset that we were talking about earlier, where it's just like, oh well, she's already doing it, I can't do it, or she's way up here, I can never get there.
Which I hate that mindset, because when I first started, it stopped me almost, because you're just like, oh, I don't want someone to think they're copying me, but it's just like, or copying them or whatever. But it's like, there's so much of everything. Like what is for you is gonna be for you. I know it sounds cliche, but it's just so like true. You don't ever have to feel like you don't want to do something because everyone does it. And I'm also very like particular about being around people that actually say that. Like you ever been around someone, they're like, girl, don't do that, everybody does that. Yeah. Those are the people you want to stay far away from, because when I tell you how many people told me, you don't want to wax, everyone does that, or this specific corporation, they have all the clients, you're never going to have clients as much as, you know what I mean?
There's so many people.
There's like, so many people. You can't wax everywhere. You can't wax the whole entire, nobody can.
Nobody
you
can.
Know? So there's really enough for everybody. So I think people should hear that more.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so why aesthetics?
I was always like into like beauty, fashion, like honestly since high school. Like not even high school, since I was a little girl. Like out of all the jobs that I've had, it felt the most fun. And even though I didn't make the most money out of all the jobs, because I couldn't keep a job longer than like 2 years. Like I would just job hop like crazy, and it wasn't because I would get fired. I was always a top performer, but I would just be so bored. So I felt like beauty, there was like never ending growth. You get to look good doing it, and I felt good doing it. So I'm like, you know, if I could just choose to just be happy and, you know, make money and be able to take care of myself, that's really all I cared about at the time. So you know, being a makeup artist at the time, it kind of fell into aesthetics.
Okay.
Basically.
So are you more fun motivated or money motivated? Because money does not motivate me at all.
Yeah, I'm definitely more fun motivated. I mean, because
it has to be something like I want to get up.
Yeah, because money's
not.
And I didn't make a lot of money when I first started. You know, not even as like on my own. So I'm definitely more fun motivated, because I actually quit my corporate job to work at a retail store where I only probably at that time made like $400 like every week, just because I was so unhappy working at the bank. And I was like, look, I don't care. I don't see how people can live like this. I just couldn't live like this. So That's really what it was.
Yeah, I can't force myself to do
but
something.
definitely the money after it comes. Now, I mean, definitely now I'm motivated by both. But it definitely has to be fun for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your initial plan after you graduated from aesthetic school?
Was to be a waxer.
Waxer?
Yeah.
It was always waxing?
It was
never
always
thought facials?
No. I've always knew going in that I wanted to be a waxer. Okay. So when I was in aesthetic school, like, anybody could tell you when I was there, all I did was wax.
Really?
Like, I stayed in the wax room because you had to at least do something. So I would go to learn the facials, like, because I had to. Like, I had to learn the facials, the peels, microderm, all that type of stuff. So I've done all that stuff, but majority of the time I wanted to I just wanted to wax.
Okay.
So I started actually waxing and doing Brazilians and brows in aesthetic school, and I would start taking clients while I was there.
Did you feel like, now, trade school, specifically like aesthetics and cosmetology, you don't really feel like you learn a lot in those schools. So
No.
How did you feel coming out? Like, did you feel like, okay, I'm ready for the real world, or did you feel like I need to go learn some more?
I think at that time, I literally was so broke that I just was like financially broke and financially like broken inside that I literally had no choice but to want to figure it out. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of looked at it like, all right, India, school never college doesn't teach you anything. They give you the books for it, they give you the resources for it, but it's up to you how much you want to use it. But it's up to you to figure out what you're passionate about. Like, it covers like nursing. You go to school for nursing, but you don't know exactly which part until you actually dive into it. So honestly, I was always eager to learn. Like, I'm someone that I really like to learn. I don't expect anything to like really be given to me. But they didn't teach us a lot of waxing in there because it's mostly facials. But I just made sure that I trained myself as much as possible so I could feel ready, and that's pretty much what I tried to do. And I was a makeup artist. Okay. So the makeup artist helped me a lot with the brows because I felt comfortable because I knew shape. So that's what helped me.
So from wax school, you went to a corporation, and then
I went to a suite.
Okay.
So then I went to a salon suite.
What was that like?
The salon suite was cool. I mean, we were just in there. There was like 27 other suites in there. It was fine, but there was like no room to actually grow because, of course, it's just one room. You know, so I did that for about a year. So I was at the corporation for like 2 years. Then I did the suite for a year. And then, then I
How did you know you were ready to be Bitterfoxx on your own, solo dolo?
Because I outgrew the suite. Okay. So I outgrew the suite because I had a partner at the time. So me and my partner, we kind of split hours, and I was getting so booked to where I needed more hours. So it got to the point where I had to decline people. Like, I wasn't able to help them, so I just kind of, or service them. So I wanted to be able to work more. I also wanted to create like a, what do you call this? Like, I wanted to create a space, like a big space for them, and I wanted it to be like mine. I wanted to feel like mine, and it was always my vision before the suite. The suite was just always a step for me to get here, but it cost more to, of course, have a studio. So it was just me taking like baby steps. Okay,
so do you mind saying for the people who maybe want a suite, like how much it costs, what the process was like to get one?
Well, pretty much all the suites, majority are over $1,000. So it just, yes. So it just,
they're not that big.
I know. So it just literally depends on like what suite, like how big your suite is. The price is based off that. Ours was actually the smallest suite.
Really?
And that, so I'm pretty sure it's more now. So it's pretty much like paying rent.
Okay.
And what was your other question? You said how much was
it? Oh, and what it was like to have the space, like what the process was like to get it.
Oh, to get it, pretty much you just have to have a license. So even for a suite, you do have to have your aesthetics license. Then you still have to have a business license, like how you would here, because they're all individual suites. So it's the same license that you would need. You still need a cosmetology and barbering establishment license to even have a suite.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we took the next step to create your own space. How'd you find this building?
This building was So how I found it is because this was already a studio here before. I knew the owner before, so pretty much she was expanding. So I knew that she was expanding. We used to work together, retail together, where, you know, I came up with the name Bitterfoxx in 2015. So I knew she was leaving, and pretty much she was like, hey, I'm leaving. I already was in the process of looking for a space. And I actually reached out to her and I was like, hey, do you know a real estate agent to help me look for a space? I didn't know she was leaving at the time. And I was just like, I'm looking for this square footage, this many rooms, blah, blah, blah. So it just happened to work out. So that's how
I feel like when it's
divine, so it happened to work out, and it happened to work out at the same time that my lease ended at the suite.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So
where did Bitterfoxx come from?
Bitterfoxx it actually came from the term bitter bitch, actually. And I came up with that because I was always technically like an alpha type of female, and I feel like when you are that, people think that you're bitter or a bitch. And I was always in sales. I was always in sales. So one guy actually called me a bitch. So he tried to like take my sale one time, and then I just kind of like rolled with it. So I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna be a bitch, then
I'll be a bitch.
I'm gonna be the worst. Not the worst bitch, but it was kind of like, I'm gonna be a bitter bitch. And I just kind of ran with it. But now it pretty much is technically for like the alpha female. So I looked up the synonym for bitch, and it was fox. So somewhere down the line, I don't know how I got that. I don't know. I could be lying. I could be lying, y'all. I don't know. But I just somehow fox came in there,
and it just fit.
And yeah, and it just fit. And I was like, yeah, because at that time, Bitterfoxx, I had a lipstick line, because that's when I wanted to be a makeup artist. So it was Bitterfoxx. And I was like, well, I don't curse in front of my mom, or I don't curse in front of my elders. So I was like, I have to change bitch. So I changed it to fox. And then I just added 2 X's, so it just looked a little bit more like spicy.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Thank you.
I'm looking at her. We'll show you her merch wall later. Because your setup is really cute.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, creatively, you're in charge. How do you stay on track? Like, do you have goals in front of you? Are you super financially stable? Like, how do you make all of this work?
How do I make all this work? Wow, you are asking like really, really great questions. So I have to plan. You have to have a planner. I'm definitely a writer, so I like to write. I like to write down my thoughts, my ideas. I'm someone that my mind never stops. Like, it doesn't stop. And I'm scared of losing. Like, I'm actually like scared of losing everything I have, everything I worked for, because I've actually been at the very bottom before to even get here. So I'm able to even be so disciplined simply because I just don't want to lose it. But like you said, how I stay in order is I have systems in place. So I have like a booking system, and I make sure that I utilize it to my full potential. I have accountants, of course. I have a bookkeeper. I have like lawyers. Like I make sure that my back end and my operations part is like really, really tight. You know, and you definitely have to invest money in that. You can't think you can do everything by yourself. You have these people that went to school, and you would just not be able to really function a profitable business if you don't have those things in place. So how important and what does your support system look like? Because you were just talking about how you got to have a good backing, but your support system is also what's holding you up, right? Or is it all you? I mean, and it could be, you could be your main motivator, because I definitely motivate the hell out of myself. But at the same time, sometimes it's just like, all right, I need to talk to somebody real quick. So I would say, like, my support system, my mom is definitely my support system. My mom would definitely be my #1 support system, because she is the one that also, like, believed in that. Not in the beginning. My mom didn't believe in me in the beginning, because she told me that I was gonna quit aesthetic school. Like, I quit everything else. That's what she said to me.
My mom called me flighty. So
so my mom said that to me, and it really hurt me at the time, but it was true because I've always quit everything. You remember I said I quit every job that I had, and but that was me trying to learn myself.
Right.
And before I went to aesthetic school, I sat on it for an hour. Not an hour. What the hell? A year.
Okay.
How did I get a year and an hour? I sat on it for a year, and I kept thinking about it. I was like, yeah, so I really want to go. And my mom, she didn't really believe in me until I worked the corporation, and then I showed her numbers. And I showed her numbers, and I said, look, Mom, if I go and do this on my own, I can make this much by myself. So it wasn't really until I did the salon suite, and then I started showing her, and then she was like, wow, she's, really serious. And then she seen my reviews and stuff like that. So I would definitely say, like, my mom is my biggest supporter, because it's been times where I've been, she's the only person here to, like, help me paint or get this in order, or just whatever. Let me use her credit cards when my credit was, messed up, so I could get it. But I would have to pay it back, though. Yeah. Like, I never got no handout. Like
black mamas don't play.
Yeah, I never got a handout. Now, let me correct that. I never got a handout. I never got a loan. I never got any of those things to, like, give me that type of boost, which, I was always scared of having loans. So
you were saving money.
I saved money.
Stacking money.
Yeah, so before I decided to go to the salon suite, I actually saved a year before and was buying myself supplies the whole year before.
Okay.
So when I moved into this space, I just had which is a lot. You have to invest a lot, because now you have the build out. You have, like, the paint, the electric. You got that type of stuff, which you don't even think about. You just think about wax or the pot or decorations. But it's so much more when you have, like, an actual studio.
So you did the wallpaper.
Yes.
Like, the flooring was here?
Yeah, the flooring was here. So everything else, like the light fixtures, were put in here. The recessed lightings I put in here. The light fixture I put in here. The recessed lightings, the wallpaper. We painted the whole entire studio. Yeah, the shelves. Everything was majority me, and a few friends that helped. But also, I want to say my support system will also be my team.
Okay.
So I don't want to leave my team out, because I really do have, like, a great team. Marlene is amazing. So she's someone that sees, like, the vision all the way through, which I really appreciate that.
And what's her position?
Her position, she's actually my apprentice.
Okay.
So she's my apprentice. Honestly, she's like the little me. Okay. Like, not to say it like that, she's our own person, but she's definitely my, like, next down, like, you know what I mean? Like,
so when her apprenticeship is done, she's still going to stay here?
Yeah, she's still going to be here. Yep, she's still going to be here. So.
And then who's the other team member?
Talia. Then I have Talia. Yep.
And what's her position?
She's an apprentice too. She's also a makeup artist. She does microblading, and a bunch of other services, like bridal services or whatever. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, they definitely help me. They make sure my inventory is done. When they see the wax is low, they're like, all right, India. They pretty much handle a lot of the inventory. So, like, when stuff is low, they're like, hey, everything is in a cart, is ready for you to go to purchase. So then I just say, press the button. So I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I'm running out or whatever. So I have it set up on certain days to where it's like, all right, we do this, or we do that. So I have it in that type of order.
Okay. So I want to go back a little bit. Before we started recording, we talked about your journey to here and how you struggled a bit. And I know that there are a lot of people who are currently struggling, who don't feel like they can get to where you are. So do you mind talking about your struggle a little bit?
Yeah, so I would say the whole time I was in aesthetic school, I was actually didn't have anywhere to stay. And I don't think a lot of people know that. It looked like I was just this happy, glowy girl. I was working out. And it's not like I didn't have anywhere to stay, because I was just like, me and my mom bumped heads at the time. And that time I moved back at my mom's house, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I left. And I left without having anywhere to go. So then I stayed with a friend the whole time I was in aesthetic school. But mind you, I was in that house with 13 other people.
That's a lot of people.
Like, sleeping on a blow-up mattress.
How many bathrooms?
Maybe 2.
Oof.
Maybe 2. I don't know, but I just made sure that I was out the house by 5 a.m. and I didn't come back till 8. Yes, I was out the house by 5 a.m. to 8 because I did not want to be in anyone's space. So at that time, I just got super disciplined and I changed my diet. I became pescatarian. I'm not pescatarian now. But then
I did it for a year.
Yeah,
too.
I said, I got me a little Cobb salad. It had some bacon on it. I said,
oh, that's how I messed up too.
The Cobb salad.
I asked for no bacon and they put bacon anyway.
Wow.
And I was
this
like,
was meant to be. Yes, mine was the Cobb salad.
Yes.
Yeah, the Cobb salad got me, and they put the bacon on there. They put the bacon on there and sent me back. So I was working out every day just because I felt like that's all I had. I ain't have no money. I was in school for aesthetics. And I probably was barely making it. I would say I probably had $40 to my next check. Like, that's how bad it was. And I did that for almost the entire time I was in aesthetic school. I would say like 8 months. Wow. And just by that alone, I watched so many people like treat me differently because I've always worked and I always had things. And I was always the person that was motivating other people. But then when I got to my lowest, it almost was like, ooh, finally. Like, I felt like the people around me were like, finally, she's losing. Like, she lost. Like, you know what I mean? And when I felt that, I said, when I get back, I said, when I get back, I'm turning up from here. And I'm just separating myself. So that's literally just, like, what I did. But in that period of time, it was, like, super, super dark, for me. But at that point, I couldn't really do nothing but change my diet and work out.
So how does your mindset go when you're in that dark spot? Because I feel like, in my opinion, I'm not trained or anything, but I feel like anxiety and depression is a mindset.
It is.
So if you can change your mind, you can change your life. That's what I learned that a couple years ago, and I have stuck to it ever since. So how do you change your mind when you're feeling low?
You really just have to really stick to what you say, like, you're going to do, or you have to change your thought patterns. Like, I listen to Jay Shetty's podcast a lot, which is one of the reasons that got me out of like a deep depression was his podcast. And I also listened to Big Sean's album a lot, which was, I forgot, but the one with the blue, it was like blue, it's like a house on it. So at that time, Big Sean's album was out. And I just got put on to Jay Shetty. I don't know how. I think I maybe seen him on YouTube. And I just listened to, and Kendrick's album. Kendrick had an album at that time. And those were the 3 people that I listened to. And as you know, they're all very spiritual. But I could hear the pain in everything that they were going through, to where I related to some of the things that they said, to where it was like, wow, I've had that thought, or wow, I feel like that too. And I'm just like, well, damn, like, how did they get here? They had to be here at this point. They had to feel low at this point, because that's exactly how I feel right now. So I just kept myself working out, eating healthy, listening to podcasts, and just changing my mindset. And then I think in Jay Shetty's podcast, there was something that he said, or maybe a speaker said, and they were like, for every negative thing that you for every negative thing that you put out and everything that you say, you have to subtract it by saying something positive to yourself.
Oh, I do that.
You know what I mean? So if you say, oh, I can't do this, you got to say, oh, I can do it. Like, you got to subtract it, because if not, now you have all of that doubt and all those don'ts. They're all going to come to you. So I really try to, like, keep my energy up. I really try to, also people that are not, have the same type of mindset, that's very important. I try to, like, cut them off and keep them far away.
I'm all for cutting people off. I don't want to say I cut people off in a heartbeat, but once I learned, what is the saying? Oh my gosh. When people show you who they are, believe them. Yes. Once I learned that, I was like, oh, you gotta go. Yeah. I will cut people off, because you're not gonna keep showing me that you don't give a crap about me. Yeah. And I'm gonna keep sitting here like rooting for you. Yeah. And I think we just become like so patient. Even we'll just keep getting the same lesson with other people, like the same person in different bodies, until we get it. But I think it's just all just
knowing who you are and being confident in who you are and really standing like in your no. Like, no, like that's not what I'm going to tolerate. You know, or just going with your intuition. Like sometimes we feel like, oh, this don't feel right, but it don't feel as bad. Right. We do that a lot. It don't feel as bad as this person, or it wasn't as bad. It's like
explain something away.
Yeah, it's like no, but it feels bad. So, but how about let's not do it? You know what I mean? So I'm even working on that right now. Is just like when I get this gut feeling, I'm like, oh, this feels like this, but I don't see it yet, but I feel it. And then sometimes it takes a little longer, and I'm like, wow, I should have just went with the feeling.
It's harder when you don't fully see it yet.
Yeah, it is, which is I'm working on that. It's like I used to wait till I see it, but now I really go off by feeling, and I just
a vibe is real.
I just have to do it, because every time I go against that, it's exactly how it turned out. So I'm like, now
clearly my body is telling me something that I'm.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah, and we're usually right. So it's like
intuition is
it's a thing.
It is.
And I think we have to really just
listen.
Yeah, we have to listen to ourselves.
Shut up and listen. You should definitely. I believe that you should listen more than you talk.
Yeah.
So I listen to people constantly. I'm constantly asking questions, which is kind of how I got here, because I ask a lot of questions. I want to know how your brain works.
Yes.
And I want to understand you as a person. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
So how has your life changed over the last 5 years?
I would say I've definitely became a little bit more clear.
Okay.
I definitely became a little bit more clear, a little bit more patient, a little bit not all over the place, because like I said, I used to I liked everything fast. I liked everything quick. You know what I mean? So it made me really sit with myself and really figure myself out more. It made me a little bit more patient. I was able to provide more for my son. You know, it brought me closer to my mom. It made me appreciate my mom more, because it was 4 of us growing up. So to see my mom be like pretty much single, taking care of all of us growing up, and then
I know you had siblings.
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
We went to high school together.
Oh yeah. So like it helped me.
So you saw her hustle at
So my mom, like when we were younger, like we were literally known to be the candy store. So we had the candy store in our house, and we were the house that sold like the freeze cups. Like we were the neighborhood house.
She was an entrepreneur too.
Yeah, so she did that. My mom also like braided. She had her own like hair braiding thing, to where like she would braid people's hairs, like micros, individual stuff like this. Yeah, so my mom
Your mom was a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, and then it kind of rubbed off onto me, because she would have me like the candy store. She would have me like take orders and stuff like that, to where then I started taking candy and selling it in Concord. So I started selling candy. Well, I started selling candy, but then it started also, I would say in middle school, I was the girl that made people's mix CDs off of LimeWire. So I would charge people $5, and if they gave me an extra $1, they get to print out one free like lyrics. I would print out the lyrics for them.
Oh, so you've been a hustler.
Yeah, so I started like, honestly, that probably was the start of me like making money and figuring out was I created mix CDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love a good playlist.
Yeah.
So you've been here in this building for
4 years now.
4 years.
Yep.
What's the plan? Where are we going next? As much as you want to tell.
Yeah. I would say like my plan now is to definitely dig into creating content, and really taking it more from just being an esthetician, so now people really get to tap in to more of my life. You know what I mean? But also get into mentoring and of course classes, and pretty much that's it. And just really build a team into where it's like I really want to be known for having the best people. Like that's all I've ever wanted to be known for. I never was in a rush to like expand or be like, oh my god, this person is doing this, now I gotta open up a bigger one. I'm really big on like my timing, my vibe. I know what kind of people that I want in my studio. So it's kind of like I really just want to move when my time is right. So I really don't want to rush it. So
that will there ever be a time where India is not a waxer, or you're just like overseeing?
Definitely.
Okay.
And that is just being said, because I see myself so much more than just being a waxer. I feel like me being a waxer and an esthetician was for me to get in position to mentor and to lead, and then eventually, you know, branch off into something else, you know. So I definitely think I will eventually not be a waxer, and I would just definitely be overseeing, but I definitely still would be in beauty.
Okay.
You know, I definitely still would be in beauty, but I definitely will branch off. I do see myself.
What about fashion? Because I remember her as a fashion girly. We only had like one class together.
We didn't have a lot of classes.
So, but I always remember like seeing you, and you would always.
I feel like it was math and finance.
Or like statistics or something.
Physics.
Like something. She used to be walking down the halls. You always had a presence.
Really? I was so quiet in high school.
But you always had a presence. Like, your outfits were always like the in-style outfit. I could never, my mom was broke. It was just me and my mom, but my mom was broke.
But it's crazy because I didn't even get best dressed.
You did?
No.
Who got it?
Some girl, you know, I'm not even going to say no names. But you know what? But I didn't even get best dressed, but you know.
Because you were definitely a fashion
I know, I thought I was going to get picked, but I also wasn't.
Do you want to do more in fashion?
I would love to do like hauls. Like that would be my thing. Like hauls, or where to find this, or how to put it together. But all clothes wise, like design wise, I feel like maybe that's something that I'll maybe learn at like 50.
Okay.
40, 50, how to design.
Nice retirement project.
Because a lot of times I'm just like, I'll go into a store and I'm like, I wish this looked like this, or I wish this was here, or I wish this was here, and then I'll just settle for a t-shirt or settle for sweatpants. But it's like, in my head, I'm like, if I had all the money in the world, like not money in the world, but if I made definitely way more money, I would really dress how I really want to. Because the stuff that I want is out of my league right now, so.
Mine too. I love this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So where can we find you?
TikTok. You can find me TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's all India Lee Victoria. So my name is the same on all handles. I'm just now tapping back into YouTube to my channel. I don't have a video up yet or anything like that, but it's still
coming.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. But it is India Lee Victoria, like on all platforms.
And if we want to book, how do we book?
If you book, you just go to bitterfoxx.com. My booking link is there. If you want products, you can come in store or we ship.
I love it. I'm happy for you. I feel like big and great things are about to come for you.
Thank you. I've worked very hard. No sleep. You know, stressed out. Pretty hard.
Anything you want to say to your folks? Anything at all?
I would just say, she told you how the vibe is. Go book the vibe on bitterfoxx.com. Come see it for yourself. And yeah, and like, share, subscribe to this video.
Yes, please.
And I hope you guys, you know, loved it. I definitely enjoyed the interview. Yeah, I think you had some great questions. And I just can't wait to see.
And most of them came off the top.
Thank you. That's good. That goes to show you that it's natural. Right. And I just can't wait to see what you do with it. I can't wait to see when it's done, and so I can share it myself. Yay. And this also just pushes me as well. So I'm glad. I love it.
You're inspiring me.
Yes.
I'm glad I could inspire you a little bit.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy.
Yay. All right.